Continuing Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 7. The illustrious one said, "Attached to me, O Partha, in your mind, and to the practice of yoga resigned, without a doubt and comprehensively, this learn in full, and hear of it from me. I shall of knowledge and wisdom declare, in general and in particular, and knowing this, as you may well discern, there is nothing in this further to learn. Out of thousands of men, haply may one sincerely strive to attain perfection, but even one who may perfected be, hardly can have a true knowledge of me. The earth, the water, fire, sky, and wind, the intellect, the ego sense, and mind. These are the distinctive elements 8, of which consists my nature separate. These constitute my lower nature. Know, as superior, O mighty armed hero, the very life, integral with the whole, subsisting in this world as living soul. From these two sources, when combined, there springs the great elements and all living things. From me, indeed, the universe evolves, and into me, by my power, dissolves. There is nothing higher in dignity, O winner of wealth, or greater than me. Upon me all this world is garlanded, as precious gems are strung upon a thread. I am in water, taste, O Kunti's son. I am the radiance of moon and sun. In all the Vedas, penance I am, sound in the sky, and manliless in man. In earth I am the holy fragrance rare. I am of the fire, the heat and glare. I am of the life in every entity, and of ascetics, strict austerity. O Partha, you should know I am indeed in all beings the perennial seed. The intellect of the wise also know the splendour eye of who with splendour glow. The puissance of the puissant, void of ire, forsaking all passion and desire. O Bharat's prince, in every entity, love I am, not opposed to piety. Indeed, all natures are by me sustained, be they pure, mixed, or with ignorance stained. They spring from me, and in me they subsist, not I in them, since I alone persist. Infatuated by these gunas 3, all this world remains ignorant of me. My supreme state they fail to comprehend, immutable, who the gunas transcend. This nature of 3 attributes of mine is difficult to o'ercome and divine, but whoso themselves to me dedicate can cross beyond this illusory state. The wicked, the base, and the idiot, and those who are ungodly, seek me not. Robbed of knowledge, my power doth delude those who have a demonic attitude. There are 4 types of men who me adore: the pious, Arjuna, and who grace implore; the grief-stricken, who knowledge seek to gain; and the wise, Bharat's prince, I thus maintain. The wise, with singular devotion blessed, always attuned, is of all these the best. The wise deem me most dear, exceeding me, and they, the wise, are as dear unto me. All these as pious souls are to be seen, but the wise even as myself I ween. For he is steadfast and attuned with me, and proceeds to the highest destiny. When many births in this world he has passed. The wise attain to my shelter at last, sees Vasudev as all and everywhere. Indeed, such a great soul is very rare. But whose wisdom has been lost through desire, will to the worship of the gods aspire, with varied rites, observances, and forms, to which their inherent nature conforms. Whichever of the gods a devotee worships, with his hopes in conformity, with firm and steadfast faith, yet you should know, it is myself who that faith doth bestow. With faith such as this on him thus bestowed, he seeks the worship of his chosen God. With hopes to worship he himself commits, yet only from me reaps the benefits. Still the fruits gained thus are impermanent by those who are of little discernment, who thus worship the gods diligently, go to gods. My devotees come to me. The unmanifest as manifest seen, the foolish me thus in their folly ween. My supreme state by them cannot be grasped, immutable, peerless, and unsurpassed. For I am not to all alike revealed, by my illusory power concealed. I am thus to fools, thus inconceivable, since I am birthless and immutable. I know, Arjuna, all that there may be, the past, the present, and the future see. All creatures and all beings to me are known, but I to all creatures remain unknown. All beings are born to desire and hate, confused, Bharat, in the dualistic state, and in delusion thus all creatures go through transmigration, scorcher of the foe. But those who have been of their sins absolved, in performance of pious works resolved, free from delusion of duality, with firm and steadfast vow, they worship me. Those who from birth and death would freedom gain, and who to seek refuge in me are fain, such persons are in knowledge of the facts about Brahman, Adhyatman, and acts. Who knows the Adibhuta principle, Adidaiva, Adiyagya as well, even in the hour of death attain knowledge of me and communion maintain. Thus ends chapter 7 in Bhagavad Gita. Now chapter 8. Arjuna said, what is that Brahman and the Adhyatman, and what is meant by action, Supreme One, and that which has been called Adibhuta, and what is this known as Adidaiva? And Adiyagya, Madhusudan, tell, and how does he within the body dwell? And how are you by those who are restrained, even in the hour of death attained? The illustrious one said, Brahman is the supreme immutable, and Adhyatman is the indwelling soul, and that by which beings subsist is shown as work performed, and here as action known. Adibhuta is the perishable, and Adidaiva is the supreme male, and I am within all bodies installed, hence I myself am Adiyagya called, who at the time of death remembers me, when he departs his physical body, thence to my divine state he does attain, let there not any doubt of this remain. Whatever thoughts at life's end are retained, forsaking the body, that state is gained. On whatever, O Kunti's son, he dwells, always the thought to that object compels. Therefore, upon me always contemplate, and fight while you upon me meditate. Your mind and intellectual faculty offer, and you shall doubtless come to me. who himself to yoga habituates, whose conscious faculty ne'er deviates, the supreme Lord divine he soon attains, O Partha, who meditation maintains. Meditate on him as the ancient sage. Your thoughts on the mighty ruler engage, smaller than atom, and who all sustains, whose form is ineffable and remains, transcending darkness by his own pure light, radiant as the sun, Aditya bright. And when death's hour arrives, with constant mind, the devotee, by yoga's strength refined, his gaze held twixt the middle of the brows, to the supreme, divine, eternal goes. Those who are knowers of the Vedas say that is imperishable, sans decay, attained by yogins, free from all desire, to which the good and continent aspire, who righteousness and good conduct maintain. Now that I shall to you briefly explain. With bodily orifices all closed, the mind and heart diligently reposed, in meditation thus dedicated, with soul and vital air fixed in the head, articulating Om repeatedly, the Brahman while always thinking of me, who thus his mortal body here forsakes, to the supremest end his way betakes, who exclusive contemplation maintains, and who recollection of me retains, that yogi, O Partha, my devotee, always attuned, with ease attains to me. And those great souls who have to me attained are no more in this home of woe constrained, who have eternal perfection secured, are never to be born again inured. All realms, even up to Lord Brahma's sphere, O Arjuna, appear and disappear. But who, Kunti's son, does to me attain, is not subject to be born again. Those who the great day and night calculate, of Brahma's lifetime figures tabulate, the duration of his night and his day, are each 1,000 ages, the wise say. When Brahma's day begins, are manifest all things defined from the unmanifest. When Brahma's night arrives, all that evolved is into the unmanifest dissolved. These hordes of creatures ever thus emerge, again and yet again, only to merge at dawn, O Prita's son, of Brahma's day, and night impelled by arbitrary sway. But higher than both the unmanifest and manifest, as greater I attest, when all creatures have to destruction gone, a state perpetual subsists alone. That state, unmanifest, is said to be imperishable high divinity, whence none return who have that state attained, that is indeed my supreme region named. That Lord Supreme, O Partha, is attained by loving faith, singularly maintained, in whom all creatures and beings reside, and who, pervading all this, doth abide. Now, best of Bharats, what time I shall say, when yogins from the body pass away, whether they from bondage release attain, or else if they must be born again, who in the fire and day and fortnight bright, the 6 months when the sun the north doth light, such yogin when he dies, who Brahman knows, to the supreme eternal Brahman goes, who in the smoke and night and dark fortnight, the 6 months when the sun the south doth light, the region of the moon is thus attained, but is to take birth here again constrained. The Vedas thus this twofold path indite, this one of darkness and that one of light. By the one he is never more compelled to birth, the other is to return impelled. O Prita's son, the yogin, knowing this, is not confused and does not go amiss. Therefore, in all respects and constantly engaged in yoga, O Arjuna, be. Whatever is by Vedic study gained, by sacrifice and penances ordained, by giving in largesse of charity, and whatever pious fruits there may be, the yogin finds these easily bestowed, and repairs to my supernal abode. Thus ends chapter 8 in Bhagavad Gita. Now chapter 9. The illustrious one said, "But now, since you are free of jealousy, I shall declare the supreme mystery. Equipped with knowledge and wisdom mature, you shall release from misfortune procure. A sovereign wisdom, sovereign mystery, perennial, bestowing purity, full righteous, and by perception discerned, most easily and happily performed. Those who no faith have in this pious way, O scorcher of the foe, are led astray. Not reaching me, this world they tread again, and in death and transmigration remain. By me pervaded is all of this world, in my unmanifested form upheld, all beings in my person thus exist, but I do not at all in them subsist. Nay, truly, I do not within me hold all beings, my mystic power behold. Though I support all beings and maintain, I in my transcendental state remain. Even as in the great sky is confined, though going everywhere the blowing wind, you should know, likewise, by analogy, in this manner all beings rest in me. All beings thus, O Kunti's son, evolve from my nature and then again involve, sent forth when 'gins the cosmic age to dawn, and at the age's end again withdrawn. Through my nature, again and yet again, I create all this, dissolve and maintain. This horde of beings compelled in this way are driven forth by arbitrary sway. Nor do these actions bind me or constrain, O winner of great wealth, for I remain as indifferent, from attachment free, as if they were of no concern to me. By my supervision, nature begot those creatures that move and those that move not. And by this cause, O noble Kunti's son, the world proceeds on its revolution. But idiots are ignorant of me, as man embodied they take me to be, since they know not my supreme state adored as ruler of all beings and their Lord. Vain are their hopes, and their deeds are as vain. Their knowledge is futile, they have no brain. Of fiends and demons the nature they bear, resorting to the enchantress's snare. But great souls, O Partha, who refuge take of my divine nature, also partake. To singular worship they have recourse, knowing me as the perennial source. Firm in their vows, they always sing of me, engaged in my worship assiduously. In love, with prostration, to me they pray, and constantly adore me in this way. Others, sacrifice to me consecrate, who such knowledge and wisdom cultivate, the one into many parts they divide, with countless visages on every side. The rite, the sacrifice, the oblation, the potent herb and the incantation, the offering, the fire and the ghee, all these I am, and they represent me. I am the father of this world entire, the mother, maintainer, and great-grandsire. I am in the Rig, Sama, and Yajur, the thing to be known, and the Om sound pure. The sustainer, the Lord, witness and goal, the abode, resort, and friend of the soul. creation, destruction, the stay am I, the perennial seed and treasury. I am the heater, and I am the rain, which I send forth, which I also restrain. And I am death and immortality, O Arjuna, Sat and Asat are me. Those who know what the 3 Vedas prescribe make sacrifice and soma juice imbibe. Who purged of sin pray to me and beseech that they the heavenly regions may reach, and by their rites and piety sincere attain to Indra's celestial sphere. Residing in celestial abodes, they taste the dainties and pleasures of the gods. And there in the heavens they long remain, till, merit spent, they come to earth again. Thus those the tripartite path who follow, always desirous, must come and go. But those who concentrate exclusively in meditation and worship of me, who always in pure love and faith abide, their preservation and needs I provide. And even those who other gods implore, with faith and devotedly thus adore, they worship only me, O Kunti's son, in contravention of regulation. I am indeed of sacrifice the Lord, the enjoyer of offerings adored. My supreme state they do not comprehend, and thus, ignorant of truth, they descend. Those who worship gods with the gods abide, who worship manes with manes reside, who worship elemental spirits flee to spirits. My worshippers come unto me, who offer with devotion and belief some water and some fruit of flower and leaf. When offered with love and sincerity, I eat as most acceptable to me. Whate'er you do, or eat, or give away, whatever pious penances you pay, in all respects, thus, O son of Kunti, all that should be consecrated to me. Salvation you shall thus attain with ease, from acts, or good or ill, and gain release, with renunciation and yoga be attuned and liberated, come to me. All beings I hold in equality. There are none hateful or none dear to me, but whoever worships me and serves me well, I dwell in them, and they within me dwell. But even one immersed in vile sins, if he my wholehearted worship begins, sure he a pious man is deemed to be, who has resolved thus deliberately. He soon becomes a righteous man, and goes to everlasting peace and blessed repose. O son of Kunti, proclaim and repeat, my devotee never suffers defeat. O Partha, who for refuge to me come, e'en though they born of a sinful womb, nay, women, merchants, and labourers too, the path to the Supreme may thus pursue. What then of Brahmins, pious votaries, and wise princes, who are my devotees? While in this fleeting, joyless world you stay, you should engage in my worship and pray. Your mind devote, your love on me bestow, in homage and in worship bowing low. You shall to me attain by my decree, with all your soul devoted unto me. And thus ends chapter 9 in Bhagavad Gita. Now chapter 10. The illustrious one said, Hearken again to my supernal speech, O mighty armed, this lesson that I teach, which I shall for your good iterate here, since what I say you find exceeding dear. Nor hosts of mighty gods nor rishis great my almighty power can estimate. They know not my originality, since they derive their origin from me. But whoso knows me without beginning, the Lord of all the worlds with no ending, he undeluded is, and thereby wins, though mortal, absolution of his sins. Intellect, knowledge, unbewilderment, forgiveness and truth, restraint and content, birth, death, and misery, and happiness, the state of fear and that of fearlessness, non-violence and equanimity, satisfaction, penance, and charity, both high reputation and infamy. These diverse natures in creatures abide, which from me spring, and in order divide. The ancient four, the 7 rishis wise, did from my mind and from my nature rise, who in their turn the world did generate, and did with diverse creatures populate. And whoso knows this mystic power of mine, as the supreme reality divine, he is unwavering in his practice of yoga, let there be no doubt of this. I am the primal source, from me evolve all things created. Thus the wise resolve with love and intellectual faculty to contemplation in worship of me. Their minds absorbed, their lives to me resigned, and always of me each other remind. Talking of me again and yet again, they true delight and satisfaction gain. To those always attuned with loving zeal and worship, I myself the truth reveal. That wisdom do I grant that sets them free, whereby they easily attain to me. To those engaged, because I love them well, and in their eager hearts for ever dwell, I light the lamp of wisdom from within, dispelling darkness, absolving all sin. Arjuna said, Thou art indeed the supreme Brahman, yea, immaculate, and the ultimate stay, the primal being, eternal, divine, the birthless Lord and potent God sublime. Thus all the mighty rishis speak of you, the godly Narad, and Asita too, and Devala and Vyasa also acclaim your glory, which you now to me proclaim. All this, O Keshava, which you indite, I do believe it true and think it right. This revelation you to me obtend, nor mighty gods nor demons comprehend. O Purushottama, O Lord Supreme, you know yourself by your own self, I ween, the origin, the stay, and end of all, of gods the God and Lord universal. It now behooves you, in your speech to me, to tell your glory elaborately, of your glorious power and estate, whereby all of this world you permeate. How may I know you, O Almighty Lord? By contemplation, how are you adored? In all particulars to tell me deign, how I may constant thought of you maintain. O Janardhan, again to me proclaim your glory, yoga, and the self explain. Your ambrosial speech again repeat. To hear your glory there is no surfeit. The illustrious one said, very good. Then I shall iterate, O Kuru's chief, my glories and estate. These conspicuous by their prominence, since there is no end to my opulence. I am the self in all beings enshrined, O you who conquer sleep by strength of mind. I am the origin whence creatures spring, their middle and their terminate ending. Of Adityas I am Vishnu, and I, the sun of luminaries in the sky. Of Marut winds I am Marichi height, and mid constellations the fair moon bright. Of the Vedas I am the Sama prayer, and of the gods Vasava I declare, and of the senses I the ruling mind, and consciousness in all beings enshrined. Of all the Rudras Shankara I am, the lord of wealth amid the Yaksha clan. Of Vasus I am Pavaka the flame, and I am Meru's high peak known to fame. Of priests who make the sacrificial rite, I am the chief priest, Brihaspati height. Of martial chiefs, Skanda know me to be, and of vast bodies of water the sea. Of rishis great I am as Brigu known, and I am the monosyllabic Om. I am the muttered hymn of sacrifice, and stationary as the home of ice. Of trees I am the shady banyan tree, of godlike saints Narad know me to be. Of Gandharvas I am Chitraratha, and of perfected sages Kapila. I am Uchai the noble steed, which from the ocean's churning did proceed. Also Airavata, the elephant. Among men I am the king preeminent. Of potent arms the thunderbolt am I, and of kine the holy cow of plenty. Cupid I am, the world who populates, and Vasuki, the chief of all the snakes. Of hooded cobras I am Ananta, of those who dwell in water Varuna. Of ancestors Aryama I am, and Yama, the disciplinarian. And I am Prahlad in the Daitya line, and of subduing agents I am Time. Of animals I am the Lion King, and Garuda of birds that ply the wing. The wind I am midst those that purify. Of armipotent heroes Rama I. Of fish the Makara know me to be, and of the holy rivers Jannavi. I am, Arjuna, of all creation, the source, the stay, and the termination. I am self-knowledge of all wise learning, and doctrinal dogma in arguing. Of syllables I am the foremost A, and I the compound words that thoughts convey. I am time which eternally abides, the sustainer with faces on all sides. And I am death which everywhere consumes, and source from which the creation resumes. Mongst females I, fame, beauty, opulence, memory, resolve, and fine eloquence, steadfastness, good intellect, and patience. Of hymns the great Sama know me to be, and of poetic meters Gayatri. Of months the Margashirsha, and the spring of seasons which abundant flowers bring. Of all deceit I am the gambler's cheat, the potent power of the potentate. I am expedience in victory, and goodness of the good know me to be. I, Vasudev, am of the Vrishni clan. Of Pandavas Dhananjaya I am. Me of the wise sages as Vyasa regard. Of poets I am Ushana the bard. Of justice dispensers the rod am I. Of diplomacy I am victory. Of secrets I the vow of silence kept, the wisdom of those in wisdom adept. Of every creature, Arjuna, indeed, I am the source and germinating seed. Aside from me nothing can be begot, of beings that move and those that move not. Endless are my divine attributes know, and opulence, O scorcher of the foe. All these are but a sample given here of my extensive glory, I declare. Whatever is of eminent glory, affluence and beauty, all spring from me. All that you should know derives from my might, and my splendorous glory infinite. But what more, Arjuna, should I relate, or comprehensively expatiate, since by one fraction of myself I hold and maintain thus all of this wide world? Thus ends chapter 10. In Bhagavad Gita, now chapter 11. Arjuna said, "This supernal knowledge and mystery of the self you have kindly told to me, and by this truth which you to me convey, all my delusion hath gone far away. Thus I have heard how beings fall and rise in detail, Lord of lotus petal eyes. You have the extent of your power shown, your undecaying glory is now known. O supreme ruler, all that you have told about yourself as right and true I hold. But I your majestical form would see, O best of beings, grant that sight to me. If you consider me able to view this divine manifestation of you? Then deign to grant to me, O Yoga's Lord, the sight of your eternal self adored. The illustrious one said, Lo and behold, O son of Pritha now, and I to you my diverse forms shall show. By hundreds, nay, by thousands you may view, of varied aspect and of varied hue. See now the Adityas, the Vasus too, the Rudras, Maruts, and the Ashwins too, and many diverse wonders that there be, things never seen before, O Bharat, see. See all the universe combined in one, the mobile and immobile creation within my body, you who sleep subdue, and whatever else you fain would view. But you have not the power to behold with your own eyes my mystery unfold, yet I shall grant to you nevertheless, divine eyes, my mystery to witness. Sanjaya said, O king, thus having spoken, Lord Hari, the Lord of Yogins, in full majesty to Pritha's son revealed his form divine, supreme and full fraught with splendor sublime, with many faces, many eyes that gleam, and many wonders there were also seen, with many diverse embellishments dight, with many divine weapons raised to fight, with divine garlands and divine raiment anointed with divine and fragrant scent, the great God in whom all the worlds abide, with countless faces facing every side. If all at once 1,000 suns should rise, and simultaneously light the skies, it may compare with but a mere semblance of that great being's mighty refulgence. The son of Pandu saw the world abide, in one and also into parts divide, and then how all subsist he understood, within him who is of all gods the god. Then Dhananjaya was overwhelmed with awe. His hair stood up to see what he now saw, head bowed and palms together pressed and meek, he to the mighty God began to speak. Arjuna said, I see, O God, within your body dwell the hosts of gods, other beings as well, Isha, Brahma, who on the lotus sits, divine serpents and rishis and hermits, with many arms, bellies, faces, and eyes, of which your endless form I see comprise, nor end, nor mean, nor beginning have you. I thus the Lord of the universe view. With crowns, maces, and the discus you shine on all sides with abundant light divine. Beyond measure, like the bright sun you blaze, hard to behold with fierce and blinding rays. You are infallible and to be known. In the Vedas from you the world has grown, guardian of righteousness and the supreme, eternal, imperishable, I ween. No beginning, nor mean, nor end I see, of many arms and infinite glory. Your eyes, the sun and moon with shining rays, your flaming mouths, all the world sets ablaze. The earth, the sky, and in between besides, is by you permeated on all sides, and seeing this form wondrous terrible, the 3 worlds tremble with fear, O great soul. This host of gods approach you and convey their homage, and others fearfully pray. The great rishis and siddhis hail thee, Lord, who are with Vedic hymns always adored. The Rudras, Adityas, and the Vasus too, the Sajas, Vishwas, and the Ashwins too, the Maruts, Ushmapas, and Gandharvas, Yakshas, Asuras, and great Siddhas, in gathered hosts with wonder and amaze, stand awestruck as they fix on you their gaze. Oh, mighty armed, this mighty form divine doth with many faces, eyes, and arms shine, and many thighs, and many feet, and many a fearful pointed fang, and many a belly. The worlds are fraught with terror and affright, as I am also at this fearful sight. Of varied colours glowing I descry your radiant refulgence touch the sky, and faces with their mouths all gaping wide, with shining eyes dilated on each side. Having beheld this vision full of dread, my mind, Vishnu, is sore disquieted. Seeing your fearful fangs and faces dire, involving all in time's consuming fire, my sense of space and direction is lost, and into consternation I am tossed. Have mercy, God, by all the gods adored, the world's abode and universal Lord. All these princes and Dhritarashtra's sons, our allied legions, all these mighty ones, the general Bhishma and Drona there, the chariot driver's son, chiefs in this war, all these into your open mouths I see, with fearful fangs toward destruction flee. Some, caught between your fangs, as in they rush, are seen with their heads mangled in the crush. Even as rivers flow with velocity, and disembogue their waves into the sea, on likewise into your flaming mouths go all these legions of men and each hero. Or as insects impetuously fly toward a lighted lamp only to die, likewise into your mouths with fiery rays all creatures rush into destruction's blaze. With flaming tongues you lick up and devour all worlds by your irresistible power. All the world is filled with your splendor bright, intolerable heat and blinding light. O Vishnu, Lord supreme of potent might, who are you, Lord, of such frightful aspect? O have mercy, I bow with all respect. I know not your intention. Kindly show, O primal being, for I wish to know. The illustrious one said, Indeed, I am time inexorable, who works destruction and overthrows all. The task in which I am now here employed is thus to have all these people destroyed. None of these hosts shall hereafter remain. Aside from you, all of them shall be slain. Therefore, arise and fight and win renown. Vanquish your foes, enjoy the royal crown. Since to death these I have already sent, conduct yourself as my mere instrument, and thus destroy this host of warrior bands, O great hero of ambidextrous hands. The teacher Drona, Bhishma the grandsire, Karna, and other heroes must expire. Since I have slain them, you may now dispose this war, and you shall thus conquer your foes. Sanjaya said. Now having heard the speech to him thus made, by Keshava the crowned one was dismayed, tremulous, and with palms together pressed, and bowing low, to Lord Krishna addressed his words in broken accents and unclear, bowing again and trembling in dread fear. Arjuna said, Rightly the world sings your divine glory always, rejoicing, Hrishikesha, in thy praise. The Raksha host, stricken with terror, flee. The perfect beings cry, All hail to thee. Wherefore should they do otherwise, O Lord, the primal agent, by Brahma adored, endless, and of the gods the supreme God, in whom the world entire has abode? Thou art the imperishable essence, beyond existence and non-existence. Thou art the primal God and ancient one, the source supreme from whence the world begun. The knower thou, the object known, the stay, whose endless forms the universe display. Thou art Vayu, Yama, the moon and fire, Prajapati, Varuna, the great grandsire. All hail, 1,000 times to thee. All hail again, thou great divinity. All hail to thee, in front, behind as well, from every side and all around. All hail, thou of endless power, the potentate, whereby you cover all and permeate. If in my fraternal rashness I offend, accosting you as, O Krishna, O friend, O Yadu Lord, since I did not know this great glory which thou to me didst show. Whatever by inadvertence was said, or in love or jest, reclining on a bed at meals, alone or oft in company, I have, O Achyuta, dishonoured thee. I pray thee, boundless one, to forgive me. Thou art the Father who the world begot, of all creatures that move and that move not. Thou art the most worshipfullest of all, with no superior and no equal. For who is there in all the triple sphere, in immeasurable power your peer? Therefore, in homage, I lay me prostrate, and worship your grace to propitiate, as a fond father with his son forbears, as a friend with his friend confidence shares, as lover in familiarity forgives his lady, you should forgive me. Beholding what was unseen, I am thrilled, but with alarm and trepidation filled. My mind is afflicted, O Lord divine. Show me again your wonted form sublime. Have mercy, God, of all the gods adored, the world's abode and universal Lord. I fain would see thee, crowned with glowing grace, wielding the discus and the ponderous mace. O let me see thy four-armed form which charms, O universal form of 1,000 arms. The illustrious one said, Since, Arjuna, I am well pleased with you, I manifest all this to your purview. My form divine, by yoga power seen, primal, infinite, endless and supreme, this vision you have been vouchsafed to see, was not seen by any previously, nor Vedic study, nor grand sacrifice, nor meditation gifts, nor works suffice, nor can fierce austerities grant the view of this form that has been revealed to you. For none has beheld in this world of man what you have seen, prince of the Kuru clan. Be not troubled or confused any more at sight of this my ghastly form. Restore your peace of mind, and again, self-controlled, you may my wonted form again behold. Sanjaya said, Thus, all this to Arjuna having said, the Lord Vasudeva him comforted, and showed his own refulgent form divine, revealing his tender beauty sublime. The Great One restored courage and good cheer to him who had been overwhelmed with fear. Arjuna said, Beholding this, thy gentle form again, in man's shape, I my composure regain. O Janardhan, the form you now assume, observing, I my wonted state resume. The illustrious one said, The vision that has been granted to you is extremely hard for others to view. To this even the gods always aspire, to behold this form with ardent desire. Nor through the Veda, nor austerity, nor worship, nor largesse in charity, can one achieve the competence to view this vision that has been granted to you. And yet, Arjuna, this can be attained by loving devotion to me maintained, whence you may see reality and know, and come to me, O scorcher of the foe, who dedicates all his actions to me, free from attachment, and my devotee, who shows not hatred towards anyone. He surely comes to me, O Pandu's son. Thus ends chapter 11 in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now, chapter 12. Arjuna said, Of those who worship you as devotees always attuned who seek your grace to please, and those fixed in the pure unmanifest. Of these two yogins, which know yoga best? The illustrious one said, those devotees who thus absorb their mind in me and always to worship inclined, with loving faith superior are blessed, and most attuned with me, I deem these best. Yet those who seek the imperishable, the indefinite and ineffable, the all-permeating, unmanifest, immovable, firm, by no word expressed, when they have thus all their senses restrained, their intellect in equality maintained, and to proper forms of worship commit, who seeks for all welfare and benefit, thus practising with faith assiduously, they also, in the end, attain to me. But difficult the task for those whose mind is dedicated to the undefined. To seek the undefined, immaculate, is fraught with woe in the embodied state. But those who worship me with single mind, who have all actions unto me resigned, and who exclusively love cultivate, worship and always on me meditate. Those I myself lift up from that dread sea of death in this world transmigratory, who thus absorb their minds in me always, swiftly, O son of Prita, I upraise. Verily I say, fix your mind on me, apply your intellectual faculty, and thence you shall in me refuge attain, O let not any doubt of this remain. But if you cannot fix your mind on me, due to your mental incapacity, then Dhananjaya practice regulate, desire to attain me cultivate. But even if you cannot practice this, then dedicate yourself to my service, and consecrate to me all actions gain, and you shall supreme perfection gain. And if in this you are not so inclined, then to my yoga practice be resigned, renouncing all the fruit that action brings, and thus be self-satisfied in all things. Knowledge is better by far than practice. Than knowledge, meditation better is. Than meditation, fruits of acts resigned. This resignation thus brings peace of mind. Who has for others not the slightest hate, most amicable and compassionate, sans pride, possessiveness, yet tolerant, in happiness or woe always content. Such yogin, satisfied and always blessed, firm in his conviction and self-possessed, with mind and intellect resigned to me, such an one is my own dear devotee. From whom the people have no fear of harm, who from the people fears no dire alarm. From joy and woe, fear and anxiety he is free, and is also dear to me. Sans expectations, clean and dexterous, indifferent and free from all distress, who all his undertakings doth forswear, he is devoted, and to me most dear. Who is not elated, who has no ire, unlamenting and void of all desire, who does both the good and evil forswear, he is devoted, and to me most dear. Who sees alike both friend and enemy, in both high honour and foul infamy, the same in heat and cold, and weal and woe, and who all fond attachments doth forego, who is always satisfied and the same, whatever befall, be it praise or blame, who is steadfast, silent, homeless, resigned, love-filled, he is most dear among mankind. And those who this righteous path thus pursue and worship, as I have explained to you, filled with ambrosial faith, my devotee is the most exceedingly loved by me. Thus ends chapter 12 in Bhagavad Gita.